Hey y'all, it's me, Bus Bob SquarePants, and welcome back to Hot or Hot. And today we'll be covering the Eureka versus Mistress Isabelle Brooks feud, then taking a look at the apparently complicated relationship between season 17's Lucky Starzzz and Nina Bonina Brown, and finally heading up north to review the finale of Canada's Drag Race season 5. First up, the tea, the drama, what's been happening in the world of Mistress and Eureka. So last week, Eureka appeared as a special guest in one of Mistress Isabelle Brooks' YouTube videos titled Exposing Eureka O'Hara's Biggest Scandals, in parentheses, Eureka Tells All, where we see Mistress going through a list of scandals that has been submitted to her by her fans. And there are several moments in the video where Eureka is clearly visibly upset, but Mistress does seem comforting and asks her for permission to continue throughout the video. And so honestly, I don't think anyone thought much of it until Eureka posted this to her ex profile 2 days after this video went live. Y'all, this video with Mistress was hard to watch. I actually am not mentally in the best place in my life as I navigate my transition. I don't think this video was done to appreciate me, but to laugh and poke fun at the struggles I've had because the fans will come to watch the messier things are. I appreciate the moments I saw real growth in myself, and I appreciate connecting with Mistress even though I don't like her and she still owes me a wig and a dance costume she promised me. But I love my big girls. And there, just for clarity's sake, where she says I don't like her, she's referencing a point in the video where she says that she likes people that she says she doesn't like, and that's a play statement. And Eureka further elaborated on her thoughts when a fan wrote back to her in this thread, sometimes we have to pick and choose our battles. If you know an interviewer is going to talk about your scandals, you can always say no and protect your peace. Where Eureka replies, I am not afraid of a conversation and I'm proud of who I am. And Mistress's response to Eureka's post was, first lesson of 2025, no good deed goes unpunished, where she also attached a short clip of the YouTube video to the post, and where we see Georges responding, I cannot believe this bitch. And in the replies of Mistress's post, we see a user saying, not y'all bullying her in the comments. Like, I liked the video, but it was edited in your usual way that pokes fun, even in genuine moments. It was fun, but I would have maybe sent her the video to watch for approval before posting, but you can only do so much, lol. And we see Mistress replying to that, elaborating on the situation, saying, we had 2 separate phone calls where I showed her the video in its entirety and asked if she had any changes or concerns. And finally, responding to that Georges reply from her earlier post, Mistress wrote to her profile, sister, I can't do the drama anymore. Starting here and now, I vow to stay out of the drama and controversy all of 2025. And the last post we see from Eureka that day simply says, enjoy the clicks, I'll respond to all this tomorrow. And the next thing we hear from either of these queens is 2 days later on the 18th when Eureka posted this to her profile. I really have to say, Mistress has a brand to her channel and it is successful. She noticed I was uncomfortable and she did everything she could to ease my nerves. In the end, when she heard me out, I could tell she quickly turned the energy towards assisting me. That's when I was reminded of the incredible heart she has. I'm so thankful to her for having me do the video and considering me. She's made me realize she's a good sister. Going on to say other nice things about Mistress and ending her post with, I'm navigating my fear every day and working on my victim complex with an attitude of being a bad bitch that sometimes gets too defensive. I'm also really glad she spoke to me on the phone and continues to answer my calls even when I'm not at my best. And these two apparently have kissed and made up, if there ever was any actual real conflict between them at all. Because knowing Mistress and her brand of comedy, I really wouldn't put it past her and Eureka to come up with a little bit of a post-posting feud in order to promote the contents of this "we're addressing all your scandals" video. But either way, I'm glad to see them bury the hatchet here, and I'm glad that Eureka got a chance to speak about some of her past scandals that the fan base does continuously bring up to her all of the time. And next up, we've got some new tea about the apparently complicated relationship between Lucky Starzzz and her estranged drag mother, Nina Bonina Brown. And there were whisperings online about these two's drag mother-daughter relationship when the cast was announced, and Nina Bonina Brown did some interviews that were posted online where she talks at length about her relationship with Lucky Starzzz, and talks about how long she's known this person, but ultimately says that her and this person, Lucky, no longer speak, and seems to suggest their relationship became more strained once Lucky started getting calls to go on Drag Race.
We always would have this thing of like, he's my sort of kind of daughter. But then like as time went on, years go on, I started being more open to it. Y'all don't know that I've known this person for a while. Me and this person aren't talking anymore. Like, of course, I'm still like happy for them. In a nutshell, I feel like this person has got on TV or was getting on TV, started acting brand new like people do. And they don't need the people who were there before they became who they were. And I feel like that's what happened.
And Lucky had remained silent about this drag mother-daughter relationship up until the point she was eliminated a couple days ago. And after her elimination aired, her exit interview is posted to Entertainment Weekly in an article by Joey Nolfi. And in that interview, she's asked, "I remember reading that she, Nina Bonina Brown, is your drag mother, but the relationship recently changed. Can you clarify your relationship with her?" And Lucky responds, "I was her sort of drag daughter. I always saw her as my drag mom and mentor, but things changed when I got cast. We've had our ups and downs. When I auditioned, we weren't talking. She helped with my audition tape, but when the audition period started, we weren't talking. So I wasn't going to ask her, hey, help me with the audition. She was a support system when we started talking again. When I finally got the final call, she was supposed to help me prepare, but she kind of didn't, and I was mad. I tried to reach out to her, but it's like, why am I reaching out to you about your problem? It was just a bunch of weird, petty, dumb stuff. I didn't have time for that. I went, filmed, came back, called her again, but I got busy. Eventually, she unfollowed me. It was like a whole mess that didn't have to be so messy. I spoke to her like 3 days ago, actually, after months of not talking. I just want to be cordial. We're cordial, I think, I hope. I don't mind, though. It is what it is. I still have a lot of respect for her and respect for her art. I'm always going to be a fan, but I don't know. Drag daughter / mother, I consider myself to be her drag abortion. I say that in a fun way. In a fun way. So that settles that on the is Lucky officially Nina's drag daughter or not conversation that has been going on online. And we now all know that Lucky is not her drag daughter, but her drag abortion. In a fun way. And now let's start our engines and head on to the finish line of Canada's Drag Race Season 5, where our final 4 were challenged to write, record, and choreograph hit singles with recording help from Orville Peck and choreography help from Hollywood Jade. And the entire cast returned for one final Coronation Eleganza runway. And while I'm not going to go queen by queen for our eliminated queens, I do want to quickly shout out how great truly everybody looked on this finale runway. And in particular, I've got to shout out Jaylene Tyme for this gorgeous monarch butterfly patterned dress, where at the bottom of this dress, instead of like the monarch butterfly spot, we see the symbol for Every Child Matters repeating on the gown. And she looks so elegant and gorgeous in this look. And I really love that all the way through this season, every time she's had a chance, she has used her drag to talk about causes and people who are important to her. Like, I'll never forget this look or her entrance look, which was speaking up for the murdered and missing Indigenous women's group. And in a nail-biting vote, Jaylene Tyme is also voted Miss Congeniality of the season by the rest of the queens, which truly was not a surprise to me at all. She has that mother energy, seems like she was friendly with everybody there, and she definitely taught the children a thing or two. So to Jaylene Tyme, congratulations. And now onto our final 4 in the order they performed their hit singles. First up, it's Makayla Couture, and her hit single is called To the Sky, Limitless. And as you might guess from the title, it's a really inspiring track with some surprisingly stunning vocals from Makayla Couture, where she sings lyrics like, I'm gonna take this to the sky, I'm limitless. She's black and powerful, so step aside and make some way. And has other great inspirational moments in the song where she says, angels, the world is gonna beat you down, it's how you get back up that makes you a superstar. And this was a really important track and performance for Makayla, not just because she's here in the final 4, but also because this is apparently one of the first songs she has actually used her singing voice in since her transition. And there's a really beautiful moment where Orville is like encouraging her to really belt out parts of this song. And later during critiques, Orville tells her that she has a great voice and never stopped singing, which I want to echo totally. She sounded so amazing on this, and I thought she really was great on this track. I also thought her choreography and general stage presence was, of course, awesome. She has been proving time and time again throughout this season, every time she's had to lip sync or do a verse for a track, she has absolutely been one of the best. This performance was limitlessly hot. And over on the runway, she is ready to say I do in her version of a head-to-toe white wedding gown, giving opulence, giving ethereal goddess, giving us queen of the mother-tucking world, really. And this look, it's gorgeous. And I really love the photo her and Isis posted on Instagram, where Isis is wearing the matching look, giving us that mother-daughter drag fantasy amazingness beauty. They look incredible in this. And this look definitely does the drag family name Couture very proudly. She looks like a piece of walking art, like a sculpture. And like, you don't want her to move at all because it's so intricate and so crazy, but it does move decently, I think, for how crazy and cumbersome the garment actually is. Was it the best outfit to do a lip sync for the crown in is a different question, which we'll address in just a couple minutes, but as a look, as a runway, I think it's totally gorgeous and definitely hot. And we also get a taste of some promised future resolution between Xana and Makayla Couture in this episode's Untucked. Xana expresses to the group that she feels there were some things between her and Makayla Makayla left unsaid. And Makayla says that she could have handled the overall situation better. Where then Xana tells Makayla, I have unconditional love for you, Makayla. And Makayla says, I do still feel a certain way. I love you down because you are that girl, but right now, I don't know. And in a confessional, she says that maybe a year from now or so, they'll be fine. Which is why I said we got a taste of a maybe future resolution. It's not signed, sealed, and delivered yet. And next up, check the label, it might be Poison. It's Helena Poison, who was such a standout in the challenge tonight. Her hit single, Poison, was incredible. And like Makayla, Helena was another great example of great chemistry between our guest music helper, Orville, because we see how he helps Helena find the dynamic highs and lows of her song, and also how he works with her to get that breathy poison out of her. And the highlight of this track was anytime she was in the chorus of the song and was going, Poison! With great lines like, too many voices in my head, I'll put them all to bed and serve them poison! From now on, we're serving poison! Check the label, I think she's poison. And had other really smart lyrics, as Tracy points out, like, hard on myself, but I took the note, I'm the venom and the antidote. It is clear how much fun Helena had writing and performing this song. She absolutely killed the lyrics section and gave us something catchy and branded to latch onto. That was also very funny and irreverent. I also low-key loved it because it reminded me of one of my favorite Tim and Eric sketches where they're singing about food and they're naming like different food items and they're like bananas, and then the kids go poison, spaghetti, poison. And so maybe this was like a tongue-in-cheek reference to that or just a poisonous coincidence. I don't know, but the song was amazing. And for somebody who described themselves as a walk back and forth seductively kind of performer during rehearsals to Hollywood Jade, I was gagged how great she did with the choreo. And dare I say, Helena gave us one of the best finale tracks of all time. I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give this a hot poison. And I also want to quickly remind you, if you'd like to support the channel, I need your help, and get access to exclusive content like reaction videos for every episode of Drag Race that I review, you can do so by clicking the link to join my Patreon in the description of this video. See you there. And over on the runway, she is giving us alien purple poison monster in a custom purple latex gown. And as usual, she is absolutely painted in her signature crazy alternative mug, and this latex gown looks good on her. I know these aren't easy to make or easy to wear. They can be very hot. She honestly makes it look effortless. And I like how she found a way to make glamour and eleganza right for her drag. I think this look is well done. I'm gonna give it a hot. And next up, there's nothing small about her. It's Minhi Wang, who in the challenge is singing her new hit single, Wangderful, which as a concept, I think could have really gone somewhere, but wasn't something that she ultimately executed on well. Firstly, I've got to say the lyrics in this song were very difficult to follow because they're sounding almost like a journal entry narrative of her day to day on the Drag Race set. Came to the comp in blue, waving that flag, I yelled, "Oh pit crew." Looking around, not a friend to be found, Xana and Tiff said, "You're a mean girl now." No one knew what I could do, but I had a clue. Do you sew or do you glue? And so on, where she mixes in what kind of sounds like ad-libs with, again, this storytelling narrative about her Drag Race journey into some honestly fun moments, like where she sings the title of the track, Wangderful. But it was just such a wordy song with so much talking that I didn't really understand why we were doing it or where we were going with it. And then her actual choreography and performance was just really weak. She was missing a lot of marks and was ahead or behind her backup dancers, or sometimes just looking confused while she's also trying to say all of these lyrics. And it became clear very early on during the performance that she was just in a little bit over her head. Anyways, I'm gonna give this a but on the runway, Minhi has one of her best runways of the entire show. She looks absolutely gorgeous and is, as she says, serving Imperial Asian Goddess. I think the red and gold are so strong on this, and I love the contrast of that hard gold and then the soft, flowy red. This look is regal, gorgeous, and giving that glamazon, eleganza, coronation, gag-worthy drag. This look is There's also a little bit of drama involving Minhi this episode though. During the Untucked session, we hear Sanjina DaBish Queen wants to air something out, where we hear her telling Minhi, "The way I left was not right. Minhi, I'm really hurt by you." They're seeming to reference when Minhi saved Makayla with the golden beaver instead of Sanjina. And Sanjina goes on to say, "Don't forget your ass would have gone home if I didn't win that lip sync." They're seemingly referencing how she won the final lip sync in the Lip Sync Slayoffs episode, where she was teamed up with Minhi, who lost her lip sync, and where Sanjina finally says that she forgives but does not forget. And Minhi doesn't really seem to have much to say in reply to this, just telling Sanjina that it had nothing to do with her or her star power, and that she could only save one person that day, and that person had to be Makayla. And performing last is the Virgo Queen, singing her new song, The Stars Have Aligned, which she starts off with, Virgo's back with a brand new track, Quiet Confidence T.O. Zodiac, and where a lot of her lyrics are sung with these running belts that really show off her very talented vocal cords. And mixed into her pretty singing, she even has some moments where she does a little rap breakdown with lyrics like, Ancestors my witness, this Afro-Indigenous, my Fijian daughter, yeah, this is our mission. And Virgo is absolutely exuding star quality and performing the house down boots, yes, Gahd, in this single performance. She hit every beat, she knew every piece of her choreo, lip synced her song perfectly. And I think of our three girls that did well with all of this choreography, she maybe did the best. This performance was absolutely hot, but did that really surprise anybody considering she's got 2 wins in this competition, both from performance-based challenges. So this is kind of her thing. And our final runway is really pretty. She is giving us silver princess fairy tale realness. And when we have seen looks and concepts like this many times over on Drag Race, I think she looks great in it, and it's a classic done well. So I'm gonna give this look a hot. Which brings us to the point in our episode where our final 4 becomes a final 2. After everyone performs, Brooke announces that Helena Poison and Minhi Wang will not be progressing to the lip sync for the crown. Which, let me just say, based on the contents of the finale episode, feels wrong. Helena Poison ate this challenge up, down, left, and right. And if you told me that I would be saying that about Helena on episode 1 of my reviews of this season, I would have told you that you're crazy. But she has consistently leveled up, I think, every single episode and proven time and time again that she's not just good, she's great at what she does in performance, in design, in personality, as we saw last episode, and in performance that we saw this episode. Minhi, on the other hand, though, I think needed to be told to sashay away at this point in the competition because everyone else that she's sharing a stage with has shown performance chops, something that I think is an absolute necessity to have under your belt if you're gonna call yourself a crown holder of RuPaul's Drag Race. But that's not to say she doesn't have so much more to offer as a queen, clearly. I mean, look at her runways, look at her comedy throughout the season. That's that one final piece that I think she's gonna have to work on and then maybe bring back to a Versus the World or All-Star season. And so we see Makayla Couture and the Virgo Queen progress on to the lip sync for the crown to Shania Twain's From This Moment On. And firstly, I was surprised that these 2 queens did this lip sync for the crown in these gowns, especially Makayla, who's got that headpiece on that looks to weigh about 30-40 pounds at least, I'm sure, but they did it anyways. And thank God it was a slow song because I don't know how this could have been done at all in this gown. And both queens, I think, gave a solid performance in this lip sync, but because of the nature of the song being slower, it wasn't super exciting, especially when we know that these 2 queens, I think, both excel in higher BPM, more danceable, choreo heavy tracks because they are both stellar performers. But it's also kind of hard to watch and evaluate these lip sync for the crowns nowadays because we know that whatever happens in these lip syncs does not matter. The judges are going to crown who they want to crown. And so there is, I think, this anticlimactic feeling now, speaking generally about all the lip sync for the crowns. We watch them and we're like, okay, the judges are going to pick whoever they want to pick no matter what. So who cares what happens in this lip sync? Anyways, my point is, I think the judges knew they wanted the Virgo Queen to win this crown going into this finale, and she basically just had to give a solid performance in this episode, and she did, and excelled, and ultimately, I think, proved throughout this whole episode why she does deserve the crown. So congratulations to the Virgo Queen and the rest of this cast for a fun season. I think though this finale did not go the way a lot of the fan base may have been hoping, because the IMDb fan ratings of this finale episode are currently sitting at a 4.5 out of 10 average, which means it could be one of the worst rated Drag Race episodes of all time here pretty quick if that gets any lower. And this rating will also help to tank the entire season's average fan rating over on IMDb. Just for some context, the previous Canada season finale ratings on IMDb were 6.0, 7.2, 8.8, and 8.0, counting backwards from season 4 to 1. And usually a low finale score on IMDb means the fans were unhappy with how the crowning went, which could be what happened, because in the YouTube poll I posted this past week where I asked my community, which queen do you want to snatch the Canada's Drag Race season 5 crown and why, the Virgo Queen actually received the least amount of the over 17,000 1,000 votes that were cast, where she won 13% versus Minhi Wang's 42%. This season of Canada's Drag Race was certainly not without its high points though. There were some amazing challenges like the Go Off Queen premiere and the design challenge where the queens created looks for Brooke. Oh, and the 90s Girl Group challenge. Like, it truly was those performance heavy episodes that shined the most. But a big thorn in this season's side was the cast's inability to perform in comedy or acting challenges, like the PSAs that were really bad across the board, and a Snatch Game that was probably an absolute worst of the entire franchise. I think the season was also at its best and worst when it was experimenting with challenge formats and twists, because y'all wanted a twist, eh? Because I thought twists like the wooden beaver and the rose and thorn thing from the premiere were fun and inventive. But some risks like the What Just Happened talk show challenge with Brad Kresge were just an absolute booger. And another really great thing about this season, honestly, was the drama. Every Untucked, there was somebody going at somebody for something between Uma, Xana, Sanjina, and Makayla. Like, they really kept us fed with the tea and drama, and I love my drama from reality TV. But of course, I'd love to know what y'all thought about this finale and season as a whole. What were your highs and lows? I want to read your responses, so let me know. And so we'll end with a congratulations to the Virgo Queen on winning Canada's Drag Race Season 5. And now for the hottest hots of this finale. In the runway, I'm going to give it to Makayla Couture. And in the challenge, I'm going to give it to Helena Poison. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots over at patreon.com/BussyQueen, and they've chosen Makayla Couture and Helena Poison. And I want to give an extra special shout out to Ashton, Felicia, Laura, Matthew Burns, Mikal Meanst, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen collector tier at patreon.com/BussyQueen. See you later. Love ya. Bye.